Yo, what's up, everybody? How you doing? How you doing? How you doing? Oh, snap! Meds is here. Meds is
Where's
here.
your daddy?
He's here. Meds, you gotta get on some gears, baby. We've been streaming that stuff. Guys Code, Wraith World, what's up? Guys Code's always represented, and the Coon, 1985, what's up, man? How you guys doing? Well, first I tell you, I'm drinking something real good. As you guys know, it's coming up to apple season. You know, apple cider. Cool, man. Thanks, man. Apple cider, man. Take that apple cider. You can have this hot or cold. I'm drinking it cold because it's hot as hell. Take some apple cider, mix it with some Fireball. I don't have the Pitbull soundtrack. Fireball. You mix some Fireball with apple cider, good-ish. Has good stuff. Or you do the apple Crown Royal in some apple cider. And you do those hot, man. When it's hot toddies, whoa, baby. That goes down real easy. So, anyway. Oh, Angry Orchard. Basically, that's what it is, right? I make my own Angry Orchard. Raccoon! That's right. That is right. Oh, man. But Phil Ness. Oh, yeah. Am I still doing my Phil Ness?
Oh, man. What is he, a drunkard? Is he a drunkard? Phil Ness turned drunkard today? Like, what's going on? Oh, man, that Phil Ness, he turned into a drunkard. He's talking about alcohol and all that other stuff. Oh, my goodness. That Phil Ness apple cider. Check it out at your local store, man. Just grab some apple cider, put some Crown Royal in it, or some Fireball. Hell, put both of it in there. But, man, that Phil Ness... We turned him off. That Phil Ness, he always likes to start. You know what's crazy is he's taking over my computer because, like, every time I boot up, Phil Ness wants to be on there, man.
That's right, baby. Phil Ness is live.
Enough of him. Enough of him. And then, oh no, somebody doesn't like that. Somebody doesn't like Phil Ness. Anyway, so as you come in, guys, hit that like button because we had one dislike. Somebody doesn't like Phil Ness. We don't know who that is. I don't know who that could be. Maybe it's Meds. Meds don't like Phil Ness, but anyway. Anyway, so, yeah, probably don't like the title. But you want to know what? I've been thinking about it. I listened to the booty. You know. He's our drunk uncle. Phil does like my video. Of course. Why wouldn't he? I turned off his Phil Ness, so he had to come off. But you know what? The statement... That's exactly, listening to booty, and that's not saying that Gears is going to be bad. Just went gold. I'll talk about that. I got the article up here. Not to say that it's bad or anything like that. Netflix has some good content. But really, I want to flesh out how we're thinking about this. Because the truth is, he made a booty call, that's right, and booty speaks. The booty has spoken. So, basically, as you know with Game Pass, as we're calling to this, and this is a thought, I put it out there for the grinders, and, Xbox is Netflix. This is a grinds my gears. Xbox are Netflix, and PlayStation are movie theaters. In talking about the types of content that they're focusing on. They could change. It all could change. Microsoft said it themselves that Game Pass is the Netflix of gaming. That's what they want to do. Where Sony is traditionally releasing big blockbuster games to do that. And Booty talks a lot of shit. My personal take on Booty is that I don't dislike him as much as like Phil and Satya, because Phil and Satya really took Xbox, and it's really Satya who really has taken Xbox. I just don't like the direction. It's not that I don't like the Xbox brand. I like the Xbox brand. I like it around. I want it to be around. I want it to be successful. I want them to go back and forth where we see like here's our big game, there's their big game, going back and forth. I don't want them just giving up, just kind of just saying, hey, let's do something different. Let's go to the cloud. Let's do something else, and let's do all these other things. And Phil and Satya really just kind of taken the soul of Xbox off of the device and just put it in the clouds. That's right. Hey, what's up, Ice Cream Gaming? Yes, they made Sea of Thieves so they could put booty in the game. So the thing is like with Game Pass subscriptions, and I gotta tell you, for this past month of Game Pass, oh my god, it's been utter trash upon trash. Like it's been bad. Like even on the PC end, like I have it run for one more month, but
good riddance to bad rubbish.
Yeah, I'll sign up for Gears when that comes out to play Gears 5, but like right now what they're giving, it's been pretty bad. I know last month was better, but this month was been kind of bad. Maybe they have some Gamescom announcements where they'll add some more games. I think they were teasing Devil May Cry 5. I think people were saying that might have leaked. I don't know if that was true or not. We will see. But, you know, when you're looking at it, not saying that Xbox is bad for being the Netflix. It's just that they're going to offer something different than what Sony's offering currently right now. And not to say that Netflix doesn't have its high-quality content, such as Stranger Things, things that get those higher budgets, and we could have put those analogous to Gears. Gears 5 could be Xbox's Stranger Things, and the same thing with with Luke Cage or those Marvel movies that they had going into Netflix, and those other movies, the Bird Box and stuff like that. Like, there is quality content there, and it's the same thing where, and Booty gets into it, we're trying to deliver AAA type stuff with a smaller team, or with maybe a smaller budget, or with a smaller team trying to do AAA like stuff, trying to get to that level. Exactly how Hellblade was. Like, it was like a AAA, but it was like an indie AAA. That's where his focus with the game studios are, and that will fit in between the big blockbuster game, the big AAA games that he mentions, which are the tentpole games, Forza, probably Fable, Halo, and Gears. Which could be analogous to your Stranger Things, things like that. Like, and I'm not saying just Netflix, but like, Stranger Things, everybody's Game of Thrones, like just basically your TV subscription shows. Whereas Sony is producing more like movie theaters. And I think it has to do with their and again, this is not knocking fanboys or anything like that. This is just my observation of how I'm perceiving the two brands. And seeing what they're offering. And Sony has that history of making movies, movie studios, advertisements, things like that I feel like that knowledge of entertainment and marketing transcends into their gaming. And their gaming studios are run that way. Shuhei and all those other folks, Jim Ryan, they know how to... Exactly, Kuhn. Gears 5 could be the orange is the new black. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's it. And then there's a whole bunch of middling stuff in Netflix subscriptions and all your subscriptions, like Game Pass fodder, those kind of games in between. And then you have your kind of temple games, and you have your stuff that's going to be in there. And that's kind of like how they plan on running Game Pass, because Game Pass is Xbox. Like, I think that is definitive right now. Like, the console itself is just a device to experience Game Pass on. What's up? Don't call me Danny. How you doing, man? Grinders! So, Sony has the experience with studios and making movie-type games. That's why, I'm still playing Days Gone and Horizon, and I'm going into those games, and just the character the facial models, the emotion, the storytelling, even in the side characters, like, there is emotion there. There is something that you get attached to. And I do feel that there's a few games on Microsoft's side that does do something along those lines with Gears and that kind. And I hopefully Gears 5 will have that kind of emotion. But I just don't think that Microsoft has that kind of movie type knowledge and experience that Sony does with running movie studios, because these games come out, they're basically movies. And the whole reason why we still go to a movie theater is because of these big budget movies. People not running to the movies to go see kind of like let's see some middle of the road, like kind of like average love story comedy or some comedy romance. Like, maybe you'll go as a date or something like that, but they're not selling those movies in drives. The ones with all the special effects, the ones with all the the kids movie is fine, but like, I'm talking about the ones like who went back to go see to go see, the Marvel, the Avengers movie, Endgame. Those people that keep going back.
I'm trying to use the phone!
We're not there yet. We're not there yet, Players United, but that's for you. There you go. We're not there yet. But those people go see those big blockbuster movies, special effects to get immersed into the movie. That's why you go to the movie theaters. You're not running to movie theaters to go see a love story by yourself or some like love comedy. You know what I mean? You're not going. Everybody's in drive to go see the next Star Wars, the next action movie. Those kind of things. That's what drives you to the movie theaters. Now, yeah, they might not be the deepest stories, but they're big budget, big blockbuster movies that get you into the theater. If you look at God of War and look at Sea of Thieves, or you look at God of War and you look at Crackdown 3, which one's getting you into a theater? Like, which one you want to be immersed in? And that's kind of like the level of that. But not to say that Microsoft's not going to have quality games in there. It's just that their quality is going to be marked at a different level than Sony's quality. And budget. I'm just thinking along those lines of budget and how they're managed. Hit the like button, everybody. As we come in there, we got a dislike. We got to counter it. Warning, warning, warning. We have a dislike. Somebody does not like this. I don't know. Could I be fear-mongering? Scare the consumer. That's my job. Because that's what we do. When we have criticism, we fear-monger. We scare you. Doom and gloom. It's over. Wrap it up. Trade it in. It's over. We are in the end game. Oh, man. We don't want to be fear-mongering. We don't want to be scaring anybody. But you want to know what? It's pretty damn interesting that they're showing campaign at Gamescom. Oh, no, 2 dislikes. Oh, man. People don't like fear-mongering. They are showing campaign at Gamescom. And before they were saying they were going to show it in September at E3. If you go back and listen to Rod's interviews in E3, we're talking he's going to show it later. Horde was going to be, everything was going to be in its silo. Now it seems that they want to show on Jeff Keighley's stage some campaign. I hope it's gameplay. I hope it's not a trailer. And I hope it's not one of those cutscenes. Hope it's not one of those. Phil told him to do it. Phil got him.
That's right. I'm telling Booty to dislike you. I told you. I'm not one to dislike people. But I told you. Don't mess with Phil the Man Spencer. Phil.
Who is your daddy?
Spencer.
Yeah, watch, man. That Phil Ness, he jumps on all the time. You gotta watch him. He's getting tough now. He's getting a little tough. The fear-mongering. That's right. He's getting tough now to Phil Spencer. You gotta watch him. But, yeah. So, I hope it's campaign. Like, I hope they show gameplay and not a cutscene. Because remember, I went back and talked about those cutscenes. I'm going to get into that stuff. But first, I want to talk about the other thing with the booty speak. Booty. But the first thing I wanted to say was, like, we'll get into that stuff with the Gears. Hashtag fear-mongering. Yeah, I know. The thing is, let me talk about the thing is that I had invested a lot into Xbox. I don't like the direction that they're going. I don't like the games everywhere and all this other stuff because you make a gaming console. I've said this so many times before. You make a gaming console. You got to make games for that console. Okay? You got to make games for that console. And it's not just like nanny poo-poo, I got a game exclusive, nanny poo-poo. No, the fact is that the development is focused on that fixed hardware, meaning that you're going to get the best out of that box. That's it. Oh, Blue, that's funny, man. You're my boy, Blue. I gotta get that for Blue. I gotta get my "You're my boy, Blue." He says, "What's Phil's favorite Arnold movie?" Eraser.
I lied.
I think that's a good one too. That's a good one for Arnold. Like, you know, for Phil, it's like, I lied. That's a good one. Or Phil could be like this.
Judgment Day. The end of the world. It's today, 3 hours from now.
2 hours and 53 minutes.
Judgment Day. True Lies. That's a good one. Eddie T. True Lies. True Lies. Let's think. Yeah. It's either between Eraser and True Lies. Well, it could be. No, not that one. I wouldn't say. Let's think. I like to refer to it as Total Recall because basically it's like erase your memory. You forgot that I said that. You'll be. Cohagen. See you at the party, Richter. Now, I'm going to tell you. You take that stick. You stick it up your nose to hear crunch. When you're halfway there, pull. Be careful. That's my body too. Now get your ass to Mars. Get your ass to Mars.
Hello, cutie pie. One of us is in deep trouble.
That's right. And then Phil, then it goes to the studios. And they're like, Phil, how much longer do we have to ship this game? And he's like, 2 weeks. 2 weeks. The Total Recall is like one of my favorite movies. Oh, come on now. Enough talk.
Into the boat. Into the tunnel. Get to the chopper. I don't do requests.
But I just did one. There we go. And this will, yes, Terminator works too. Judgment Day, all those things. Scarlet releases give me Judgment Day. I do like this line too.
Batman?
So when you're going to kill.
No sequel for you.
There's another one. No sequel for you. Get to the tunnel. Get to the chopper. But yeah. Anyway, I got distracted on all my Arnold Terminator movies. I still need more Arnold movies, man. I was just watching a whole bunch of friggin' Arnold ones. I like the compilations too. They're pretty funny. And you know, Phil going around.
No deal.
No deal. But yeah. Like that, I think that's where we're at now. Right now, and we're gonna talk to Booty 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 Booty. I got him here.
I've got news for you. You're mine now. You belong to me.
All right, so we got some booty interviews. So here we go. So listen to the booties.
Don't do this, Derek.
Listen to your friend Billy Zane. He's a cool dude.
So here we go.
Yeah.
Right.
I know this is an impossible question, but do you have a favorite studio to visit? A favorite first-party studio? If you had to
Nah, we don't want that one.
Expansive, large game worlds.
Here it is. This is what he says.
We are lucky to have 15 studios that we've got. I will say that what I love about visiting the studios, though, is just the exposure to, you know, the new thinking and sort of the new way of doing things. Like right now, for an example, we were just real fortunate to be over in the UK last week, and we visited Ninja Theory and Rare. And one of the things that they're both working on right now is how do you create expansive, large game worlds without having to throw thousands and thousands of people at the problem? And the answer turns out to be to really try to get technology in place that can be more procedural. And how do we use technology to create things that are fun and organic and are great universes to tell stories in, but can sort of build themselves. And, you know, I'm really impressed.
So basically, he's speaking about Minecraft. You know, he's basically talking about, let's get a world that procedurally generates and have it build itself. Also, he's probably speaking around No Man's Sky, that kind of procedural generation where the world just continues, but the people create the experiences. The experiences are in it, and all they gotta do is keep the lights on. It's Minecraft-esque.
A lot of game teams these days are using a tool called Houdini, which really started out in the film and visual effects world and has made its way to games. And the things that you can do, even with procedural materials and textures, like using Substance Painter. And I'm just fascinated by how these tools have made their way into game development and how the teams are using them. So for me, that's always the fun part. I love seeing the people. I love the energy of what they're working on, but it's just great to see how this new technology and how this new way of thinking about things has made its way into the studios.
Yeah. We visited Ninja Theory for the Hellblade cover story. And what was so fascinating about that cover story in general was just kind of what a freaky, bizarre little project Hellblade was within Ninja Theory, because they were still, I think they're working on 4 projects at the time. One of them was like an early version of Bleeding Edge, I think.
Yeah.
How important do you think Hellblade was to that acquisition? Do you feel like Microsoft would have been just as interested if Hellblade didn't perform the way it did?
Well, I think Hellblade is a.
First, I want to say about Hellblade. Sony had Hellblade for exclusive for over a year. It was exclusive on PC, Steam, and Sony for a year. And then it wasn't until Microsoft got it over a year later, then they did this acquisition stuff. My issue has been for the last couple of years is like, where is Microsoft on recruiting these games? Where is the Microsoft team that's finding the next Hellblade and making sure that their customer, their ecosystem customer, whether they're on Windows 10 or on Xbox, should experience this game? Where is the curation? Where are the people that Microsoft hires to say, I saw Hellblade, yo, let's get that on our platform, let's go. The same guys that kind of signed PUBG, like, where was their awareness of Hellblade? Sony had it for a year, so did PC. Now, maybe that was just the studio's decision, but it was sort of like second fiddle to Microsoft, and they're like, oh, wow, Hellblade did well. Like, you know what? Let's put it on our platform. Oh, and let's buy the studio. Anyway, get into that. It's just, that's the kind of thing that pisses me off about where Microsoft, like, where is the curation? Where is their desire to bring content to their consumer? Because it feels that a lot of their stuff is kind of just, like, hey, let's sign Out of World, like, let's sign Ninja Theory, you're getting the studios for the studio's sake. Why are you not identifying the games and bringing those to your platform? Like Sony has been identifying games, like Nintendo went out there and made Astral Chain and found Marvel Ultimate Alliance 3, and Sony went out there and did Concrete Genie and signed over, and getting Judgment, and got Yakuza working with the Japanese developers, and getting Dragon Quest and stuff like that. Like, where that curation from the competition, where's Microsoft's curation? It seems very kind of indie-esque and kind of like, hey, if you want to be here, come on. But where's that active pursuit from Microsoft to find those games and bring them to the platform? Because basically they bought those studios, but they're still making those games everywhere. And those games weren't something that's like, hey, this game is going to be a blockbuster, let's buy the studio. Like, they basically just bought these studios while they're kind of just wrapping up projects and between projects, and it didn't do it. Like, they could do that, but where is their curation? But anyway, we'll move on.
A great thing to point out as an example, because it is just a great example of the kind of game that we are looking
This is very important.
for from the studios that we've acquired recently.
It's the kind of game that they're looking for from the studios they acquired. He doesn't say for a couple of them. He says for the studios that they acquired, this is it. So listen to this very closely. This is the point.
Which they're not going to be 90-hour AAA games, but what they are going to be are things that are super well crafted, that will have as close to AAA production values as we get, but we're going to scope them so that they can be done well by a smaller studio. So I think to me, the magic of Hellblade is how well it was built, how compelling its story was, but it is a masterful bit of design constraint and scoping, so that what it does really well. And it's, it's not a 100-hour game, but the 10 to 15 hours gameplay that it is really, really well done. And
So there it is. That's it. Like, there it is. Okay? That's it. Okay? He said it right there. Like, this is the one who runs the studios.
And that's it. I don't want to hear nothing else.
Like, that's it. Hellblade, which I really liked Hellblade. I thought it was incredible. The sound, the art direction, incredible. Great game. A great game for when it came out, summertime. Like, it was a great game for that one. But that game is obviously, like, the fight, the combat, the stuff, like, it was definitely very, very linear, very kind of just like swing the blade. There wasn't a lot of like growth or pattern. Like, there wasn't a lot of gameplay in there. It was more of the story and atmosphere and the acting that really pulled you in to it. You know, the combat was the same type of enemies. Like, it really wasn't like this kind of like in-depth of a God of War type combat or something where you're going to go run through. Like, you'll run through it, do it. Like, it was a great game for a $30 price tag. $60, I don't think so. But like he keeps saying, we are not making 100-hour AAA games. Which, not only that he's saying that we're not making 100-hour games. He's saying we're not making 100-hour AAA games. So games, and I wouldn't say 100 hours. I think that's a little exaggerating. But games such as Days Gone, Horizon Zero Dawn, Uncharted, God of War, Spider-Man, all those Sony exclusives, those type of games are not on the cards. The style, the production, and when he sees that AAA, I think he's talking about budget too. These are huge teams. So, but he does mention.
So I think for us, it was more of a test case of, hey, if we were to acquire Ninja Theory and they were to just continue shipping games of the quality and scope of Hellblade, would we consider that a success? And the answer is yes.
There you go. Now, what I want to explain, and I'm going to jump back into the chat here, because he wraps up one more thing. But I want to just jump into Ram Noodles, you might be right. Fable might be generate, yeah. Fable might be. Yikes, yeah, yikes. Yikes. I could go back here. No crunch time, Jemiah, that's right. What's up, frogs? How you doing, man? Sale Clerks, what's up? I don't know about Fable, man. I don't know. Remember, this is right off the heels. Guys, this is right off the heels of Phil Ness. Guys, this is right off the heels of Phil Ness. But I digress, because we're going to get into Phil Ness. But well, here it is. So, he says, what will be a success for them will be Ninja Theory creating more games like Hellblade. That's considered a success. Keep in mind, the games that Ninja Theory created before Hellblade, Devil May Cry, Enslaved, Heavenly Sword, those games were larger in scope than Hellblade. Right? Those were $60, $50 games that were long single-player games. Yes, they weren't open world, but they were bigger experiences than Ninja Theory's game of Hellblade was an experiment to see, hey, we want to make a AAA indie or kind of an indie like that. And he says if we just get more of what Hellblade is, that's a success. Just keep doing Hellblades. Small team, lower budget, AAA-esque, small in scope but focused. 6, 10 hours, 10 hours, 15-hour, 10-hour game. But we're not going to make these massive open world games with these studios. We're not going to make these big 100-hour AAA games, which is exactly opposite of what Sony has been putting out. Days Gone is friggin' monstrous. Heavenly, what is it? The friggin' Horizon Zero Dawn, huge. God of War, huge. Now, God of War's a little bit linear than those other games, but they're big budget AAA games. And he's saying what these studios are making are type of games like Hellblade. Okay? And what you got to realize was Hellblade was one of the smaller titles that Ninja Theory made. They made full $60 games like Enslaved, Heavenly Sword. They made those longer, bigger games. Now, I never beaten Heavenly Sword, so I don't know how long that is. Maybe it's the same length as Hellblade. But Ninja Theory is going to do more Hellblade. That-esque type game. Small projects, nimble. Remember, the quote back from when, the initiative was being built. We want to stay small and nimble. Small and nimble, they say. This is what these studios are making Game Pass games. And now is where he says that. He says it right here. Exactly what Game Pass is. And that's why when I've been on here saying those games that Sony and Nintendo, the Zelda type, those games, those big AAA games are not going to come from the studios that Microsoft acquired. You're going to have your tentpole franchises, Halo, Gears, Forza, and maybe Fable, which might be procedurally generated. Who the hell knows? What's up, Jamal? How you doing, man? So you might exactly wound up Penguin. People are saying they think that these studios, they're making games. They are making Game Pass games for a small snippet. Think of it Think of it as a snack. Think of it as Netflix content versus going to the movie theater. You know, that's exactly what my point is. They're Netflix. They are your streaming services. They're Hulu shows. They are Hulu streaming services. That's what they are. Quadruple A will be 4 single A games, or maybe 2 double A games. Or maybe they are going to come up the initiative with bringing a Bok huge hit. Who the hell knows? Maybe that's another studio where he's talking about it. But they did state that they're staying small and nimble. They're only 30 people big. But what you look at, exactly, Yoban Craft, yeah, Yoban, like AA 70 plus Metacritic is the Game Pass standard. That they're making smaller bite-sized things. Hulu Flicks, Game Pass, that this is what they want. They want to keep small teams pumping out content, like a sweatshop, pumping out content of small bite-sized games. Keep going, keep the pinwheel going. Phil Spencer said it is the pinwheel effect. If they just keep putting small stuff like content, the wheel will do itself inertia and it'll keep going, and then they're just going to be only them. Or they'll have some indie games, and then some AAA games that don't do well at retail, and those are the kind of games they'll put in there. So yeah, Dylan Columbia Dan says Heavenly Sword was a lot longer, and he played it, and harder difficulty, almost impossible to beat. But you gotta remember, Ninja Theory, like my point is that Hellblade was one of their smaller type games from what their previous single player experiences were. DMC, Enslaved, Heavenly Sword, those were bigger Ninja Theory games than Hellblade. And exactly, Metacritic scores don't matter, sales, then what matters? Trust me, Metacritic and sales and matters, because that determines the success of a product to invest in a sequel to that product. So maybe for console battles and all that other stuff, people could say I don't care. But to the publisher, sales, engagement, DLC sales, the monetization of that game, and how much it was purchased, how much it was downloaded, and then how was it rated. Hell, there's companies that give bonuses out based off of Metacritic scores. a developer will get a bonus if a game hits a certain Metacritic score in some contracts. Hellblade was Ramen Noodles said Hellblade was a $30 million project. That's what Microsoft's after. They're after small, little game. Like he says it. Don't take my word for it. He said it. We're gonna go back just a tad. Just so if anybody watching this again, not the grinders in the chat because guys get it, but if anybody else just happens to fall upon my video, please listen to the words coming out of the booty mouth. Listen to the booty. The booty is clapping. The booty is speaking. Respect the booty. Respect the booty.
What's with kids today, huh? No respect.
When the booty is clapping, you better stop flapping. He's talking. He's talking now. Respect the booty.
But what they are going to be are things that are super well.
Wait. He just said it right there.
Freaky.
Guys, you know what? Grinders. I'm coming back to the chat. We'll come back to the chat because you know what's happening. This clip right here, y'alls. This clip right here, guys. Hashtag booty clap trap. I like that, Players United. I do like that one. Hashtag booty clap trap. We got a hashtag booty clap trap going out there. We got a hashtag booty clap trap. I'll buy that for $1. There we go. Here we go. Here we go. Here we go. Here we go. I'm going to tell you right now. Booty clap trap. Shit. Now my thing's showing this. I don't want to see this. Turn that shit off there. Now. Booty. Respect the booty. We got to respect the booty. But I'm going to tell you this. He says $30 million is not a lot of money into game development. Hey. That's why when people say Microsoft bought studios, I go, what are they making? And then I hear, oh, they got a project. Nobody knows. All right? Rumors, oh, they're working on this. Oh, they just signed another 2 guys to work on some open world game. Like, dude, please. Stop it. Now, let's get back to the booty. Back to the bootios. Bootios!
Bizarre little project Hellblade was within Ninja Theory, because they were still, I think they're working on 4 projects at the time. One of them was like an early version of Bleeding Edge,
booty.
I think.
Yeah.
How important do you think Hellblade was to that acquisition? Do you feel like Microsoft would have been just as interested if Hellblade didn't perform the way it did?
Well, I think Hellblade is a great thing to point out as an example because it is just a great example of the kind of game that we are looking for from the studios that we have acquired.
He was just talking about Ninja Theory. All right? The interviewer. Booty talks about all the studios that they purchased. This is not the first time he said it anyway.
Recently, which are, they're not going to be 90-hour AAA games.
The games from their studios will not be 90-hour AAA games.
But what they are going to be are things that are super well crafted that will have as close to AAA production values as we get. But we're going to scope them so that they can be done well by a smaller studio.
So it's going to be at the tier AAA, but then they're going to scope them. They're going to scope the game to be handled by a smaller studio. Because you want to know what? It's about quantity. It's about quantity for Game Pass. It's about keeping subscribers. This is what I stated what Game Pass was going to do to Microsoft games. It's going to turn them into just quantity. Small bite-sized games that just keep coming out. Hopefully they're high production value. They could come out with a whole bunch of Hellblades. More power to them. But Bleeding Edge ain't it. I know they worked on Bleeding Edge prior. He says it here. So I guess we'll put that one under the rug. But we're talking Ninja Theory and Hellblade, and then Bleeding Edge is their open multiplayer game. Okay.
So I think to me, the magic of Hellblade is how well it was built, how compelling its story was.
Play
but
this
it
again.
is a masterful bit of design constraint and scoping so that what it does really well. And it's, it's not a 100-hour game, but the 10 to 15 hours gameplay that it is really, really well done. And so I think for us, it was more of a test case of, hey, if we were to acquire Ninja Theory and they were to just continue shipping games of the quality and scope of Hellblade, would we consider that a success? And the answer is yes. And I think that where that helps our strategy is when you think about something like Game Pass, where people are subscribing and they really want to know that there's, hey, what's next? I'm going to play this. What's coming up?
Quantity.
Those kinds of games are great, and they're things that fit perfectly in between our bigger AAA releases. So I don't know that Hellblade was the pivot point, but it certainly was a great example or test case to prove out, what we're looking for when we acquire a studio.
So there still are those other lingering projects at Ninja Theory. Like when you acquired them, they were working on a handful, and you wanted to keep working on that handful instead of compiling into one?
Oh, absolutely. For example, we showed Bleeding Edge on stage at E3. Yeah. That game was in development, before we even started the acquisition. And of course, we want them to continue. There's projects underway at Obsidian that, we'll learn about in the future that they've already started working on. Same, with many of the studios. So I think that is exactly the goal, that if we were to say before, let's say that, a studio like Ninja Theory has, somewhere around, I think, like 75, 80 people. They might have had to do some percentage of work before just to kind of keep the lights on and pay the bills, like more contract work. And I think it'd be great if we can now just take those folks, and now that they don't have to worry about that, put them on, more projects and more things like Hellblade.
70 to 80 people. All these hiring, 70 to 80 people on multiple projects. Did you see the size?
Sure.
Oh, I'll show you. Next. Did you see? Here's the Gears team. Is that what it takes to give me a Gears quality type game? All right. I digress. I just want to get to the last part of this.
So do you somewhere, whether it's a document somewhere, a whiteboard, do you have a list of just...
I want to get to this last part that he says.
That kind of gates it a little bit. But again, that said,
buying
to
stuff.
The next level.
Hold on.
Not necessarily an acquisition, to just more basic
Talks
sources
about putting the
and
games.
making sure that our platforms, things like xCloud and game sources, to just more. Does it make sense for the?
Here it is.
We're interested in staying multi-platform moving into the future, even though they're a Microsoft studio. Would you allow such a thing?
So on top of that, about the type of games that they want for Game Pass and out of their studios, now he asked the question, what platforms would you put these games on?
Yeah, I think we would. I think that the question is less binary about should it be on Switch, should it be on PlayStation, and more, does it make sense for the franchise? In other words, is it a kind of game where it would benefit from the network effect of being on a bunch of different platforms? Or is it a game where we can best support it by putting resources and making sure that our platforms, things like xCloud and Game Pass and Xbox Live, are really leaning in to support the game? And so with something like Minecraft, I think it was a no-brainer that we were never going to try to take anything away from players that existed on those platforms. And certainly we've added new platforms since that acquisition. But then, obviously we're going to have our big franchises like Forza and Halo and Sea of Thieves, where those games are designed.
Big franchises, Sea of Thieves.
From the outset to really exist on Xbox. And I think that will continue.
Yeah. So something like...
So it does sound like that he might keep Halo and Forza and maybe, he didn't say Gears, but Gears is coming out, on like the platforms, like on xCloud, Xbox, PC, Steam, maybe not put those over on PlayStation, stuff like that. But it says it's not binary, it's if it does. And I think it's really those multiplayer games, if they allow Xbox Live on other platforms, if Sony says yes, you would make us sign into your servers like to play these games, then we will do this. Like, that's all that's there. They have no problem. There's nowhere where we're making a game to make our console players, fuck console players. If hey, we're gonna make our PC and console players one, and it's doors wide open. So not only are the games kind of a concern of the type of games they're gonna make from these studios, And if they come out as a bunch of Hellblades, that's good, right? I guess. Like, you know, but people think like Ninja Theory is going in down, like, you know, head in the ground with 80, 70 people and going to come out with Uncharted type game. No. He said it. So stop. You know? Microsoft is not, those studios are not going to make the next God of War. They're not going to. Unless 343 and Coalition do something else, those are your tentpole games. These other studios, unless the Initiative has one, but he just threw Sea of Thieves out there. Dude, we know what Sea of Thieves got rated. Sea of Thieves is not on the level of Halo, Gears, or Forza. I'm sorry to say.
For Outer Worlds, I'd imagine you're planning an Outer Worlds 2 being like a big Microsoft exclusive moving into the future as well then?
Yeah, I think that'd be that kind of game. And I you know, from what we've seen of Outer Worlds, you know, my hope is that that's something that we can build and that it really becomes, you know, an enduring franchise and it really starts to grow and that we can help expand that. I think it's a great universe they've created. You know, I think about what are the things that you need for a franchise to kind of bear weight, you know, like what can it withstand? And, you know, can it, is it a narrative? Is it a set of characters? Is it a universe that's big enough that you could start to add on to it? And that's what I love about what Halo has created.
Yeah.
It can support, you know, all kinds of novels and fiction and comic books. You know, I think State of Decay is on its way to getting there in terms of a world and a fiction and a set of narrative rules that could be built on. And Outer Worlds, I hope, also gets that kind of traction.
Yeah,
Great to see it get out there.
Excuse me.
Do any studios bring up the idea?
I'd buy that for $1.
Did he just say State of Decay is getting there?
We're really focusing first on what it means to play these games on your phone. So we thought about how can we get as many people playing on a phone as possible.
I'm trying to use the phone!
Xbox One X is the most important? No.
Of pulling a Bungie
Done.
or a Twisted
Done.
Metal and buying themselves back and getting out of the Microsoft bubble? That was such a weird duality in your history. Is that ever mentioned these days?
You know, I actually
I encourage you to go listen to the rest of this interview. I lost this guy at Sea of Thieves and State of Decay 2. Like, please. I bring up those games because they're horrible games. They're poorly implemented games. State of Decay 2 was AAA all the way, and then he's saying, oh, I want State of Decay 3 to be AAA all the way. Anyway, so we're talking about Gears, and we're talking about Game Pass and booty clap trap. I'm going to jump into the chat back, guys. Sorry, Grinders. I've been doing my thing over here. Yeah, so the achievements came out for Gears 5, and the only thing I want to say is I'm not going to talk about game length. Now, I'm not here to talk about that. But I'm here to say that Jackbot, you bet your damn ass you're playing the third player as Jackbot. Oh, yeah. So 3-player co-op, and the third player is Jackbot. And remember, the reason why Jack is in the game is for newcomers to Gears of War. Oh, how sweet. Oh, for newcomers. For the kids. It's for the kids. Oh, that's so nice. You thought about those new players that want to play as a robot. There's no legs. And give me new achievements for that robot. Where is he? Where is he? There we go. He gets upgrades. Oh, look at this. Use Jack's fetch ability. Acquire Jack's ultimate upgrades. Fully upgrade Jack's abilities and passives. Oh, man. Wait a second, guys. There are more. Use Jack's stim upgrade. Use his shock trap ability. Use his cloak. They've thought of everything. Half of the fucking campaign achievements is to play as fucking Jack. Use his flash ability. Look at this. Complete the game as Jack. and get achievements. How sweet. Yeah. It's Jack. There's little Jack. And the other thing is, there's 4 acts. 1 less act than Gears 4. Now, I said that, what Rod said last year, that they only did 4 or 5 performance captures, and we saw one of them, which was Kate crying and saying that she has to go up north, right? That was one of the performance captures. 4 or 5 of them. Well, fits right into how many acts there are. So I expect to see one of those things before or the end of each of these acts. So people are speculating this might be a small campaign that we thought in length. But maybe in scope, it's more of an open area. I don't know. But I'm not going to here commit and say how long this game is going to be. All I'm telling you is that Jack is the 3rd player. So, do you call that 3-player co-op? You call it 3-player co-op? I don't call it 3-player co-op. Oh, yeah, S2. Yeah, it's the same Jack from Gears 1. Jack ripped this door. Jack, stand here while we fight a bunch of these guys. Defend Jack as he opens up door. Yeah, you get to play as that guy. You get to play as that dude. So, there should be 2-player co-op with a jackpot. But it is what it is, But the whole point of it, them introducing Jack. And it says it on their whole thing. Like, that's the problem. Like it's like, well, why? Like, you're playing as a robot. Like, maybe he has some cool things and stuff like that. The problem is, this is the problem. This is the issue. Oh, you get to play as Jack. Oh, it's a different character, right? It's a different character, right? Yeah. Like, who cares? I get to play something else. Right? Dudes. This is the problem. I am not new to Gears. The whole reason why the stupid ass Jack is introduced to the game is for players new to Gears. That's the problem. They specifically made you carry a friggin' background character that was a robot that just hovers around. Gave him leveling up abilities and support abilities because it's new for new players. That's the problem. If this was a new hardcore robot that transforms and does stuff, fine. Add it as a 3rd character. Or maybe a morphing DB or something like that. That will be a 3rd co-op character. But the reason why Jack is playable in campaign is because of this. So all you great Gears heads out there, people that played all the Gears of War campaigns, are you going to be a support character? Is that what you want to do? Tell me, is that what you want to do?
Oh no! It's scary old doom and gloom!
Fuck that! That robot was put in there for new people. For your Game Pass folk. That's the problem. That wasn't made as a design choice, as a new... Who said it? Don't Call Me Danny says playing as Jack, you're the diss. Dude, let's play some Gears co-op. Okay. I'm Del. I'm Kate. Who wants to be Jack? Oh, fuck. I gotta be Jack? Yeah, you float around and you shoot stun grenades. And heal us while we go chainsaw everybody. That's the problem. That's the problem, dudes. That's the problem with Jack. He was put in there for noobs. So guess what, dude? Let's all sign up and play Gears. I can't wait. Let's stream it. Okay. Who's Del? Oh, you're Del. You're Kate. Yo, Grinds, get who you? I gotta be Jack. Yeah, just be him for one mission, and then we'll switch it up. It's like when you get to a playground, and there's the Nerf ball, a great ball, and there's a fucking deflated one over there. It's like, dude, we gotta play with the third. Yo, who wants to bring the deflated ball? Get float around. Look, he has stim grenades. He has heal. Oh my god. He's a support character. It should be an AI. It should be an AI that you control as Del or Kate. Map to the D-pad. Map to the D-pad. Hey, yo, stim. Oh, heal. He should be an AI. But instead, he's the third player on co-op. Perfect for new players. He sounds like the man in the cat's controller. Yeah. That's the problem. Who wants to be Jack? No, I don't want to be yeah, Joy. Go level up your stim grenades. Why do you think they put achievements for Jack? Because they know no motherfucker wants to play as him. That's why. Why they put achievements for him? Because the achievement hunters will go play as Jack. That's why they put it as Jack. That's why they want Jack as the fucking playable character. He's there for Game Pass folk. He's there for newcomers to Gears 4 that don't want to run around and chainsaw. Oh, don't chainsaw me. Oh, don't. Here, I'm going to float around as the bot and revive you. I'm going to stun those guys. Here, I'm going to hold on. I'm going to hold X while I open up this door. Hold on. Let me level up my rechargeability. That's why they put achievements behind it. Because they say the only way people are going to probably play as Jack is if they're achievement hunting. Congratulations, Microsoft. You found the answer. But that's the problem. The whole point of that character being playable is for new players. That's the problem. You know, there's an easy mode. That should be for new players. There should be like story. I just want to follow the story. I don't want to combat. There's an easy mode for that. Choice. Right? But don't change the gameplay for a newcomer. Like, you know, there's an easy mode for that. Just put the game on passive and you take like 50% less damage or something like that. Just like they have it in these single player games where it's just basically, you know, they got these just want to just come for the story. Witcher had it. That you're not into the combat. Like, you know, I just want to play the game, experience the story, move on. There's an easy mode for that. But you don't have to introduce a character that's been in the series since the first game that has a whole that nobody wants to play. And that's Gears for Game Pass. That's what Game Pass has done. Rod Ferguson said it. Like, Gears now has to be looked at differently because of Game Pass. I'm not commenting on the length. I see people saying that might be 5-6 hours because it's one act less. I'm not going to say it's a short game because I can't comment on that. I just said that there were 4 to 5 cutscenes and that, you know, performance captures that he mentioned, that those sound like, you know, huge game. People said, no, that's okay. There were no cutscenes in Gears Ultimate, no performance captures, so we're good. Okay. Now they're 4 acts. Okay. We'll just have to wait till September. You know? We keep making excuses. Okay, well, 4 to 5, you know what? There's no performance captures in Gears 4, so we talking. Well, okay, you know what? Fine. And we heard booty. And the whole thing comes to Game Pass. Game Pass structure dictates the games. Microsoft will not invest millions of dollars in a single-player campaign like Sony would, who wants people to still go to the movie theaters. Because Game Pass, you got to have quantity. You need to keep spitting these things out. You know what? Some people want to jump into Gears 5. Okay, give them a 7-10 hour campaign. Good to go. You're done. Move on. Get a next game in Game Pass. That's it. We don't have to give them the 15-20 hour experiences in single player games. Booty says it. They're not making AAA 100 hour games. They're making more Hellblades. So I expect probably Gears 5 campaign just by itself. I'm not talking about the length of the multiplayer or the hours you're going to have in Horde. Maybe that campaign if it was just by itself, would probably be equivalent to like a Hellblade type campaign. Maybe it's shorter, but it's 4 acts, 1 act. They keep saying it's the biggest. We'll see.
Oh yeah. Bill Ness is here, baby. This is perfect. This is exactly what I wanted. Bite-sized games. Perfect for those phones.
I'm trying to use that phone!
xCloud. Oh yeah. Nobody wants a 15-hour story and game. It's quick, quantity, quick, wham, bam, thank you, ma'am.
Oh, Phil, you're so dirty. But we come back all around, full circle. Here you go. Grind my gears, grinders out there. Full circle. Yep. It's about services. It's about subscribers. It's your Netflix. It's your Hulu's. Everybody's doing it, you know. Everybody's doing it.
Hey! What the hell are you doing?
We're streaking. We're going up through the quad to the gymnasium.
Who's streaking?
There's more coming.
Frank, get in the car.
Everybody's doing it.
Now.
Everybody's doing it. So, I'm glad Gears went gold. Booty, I like the guy. Heads up, Cyber Dragon, how you doing? I like the Booty guy. Like I said, not saying that Netflix is bad, movie theaters are good, but there's a difference in focus in games. And Sony will probably want to put their stuff elsewhere, like, you know, on PlayStation Now and things like that. But they're still trying to drive people to the movie theaters. And I think it has to do a lot with their experience in movie studios and also their marketing and production value of their games. Microsoft is more of services now with Satya. So they're going to their strength. Because I don't think Microsoft has the ability, or maybe they'll just cost too much money and they don't find it financially feasible to them, as Shannon Loftus said, to make a type of game like a Spider-Man. And just have it go out there, then sell it for 60, then sell it for 40, then sell it for 20, and go make a sequel and sell that for 60, sell it for... Microsoft doesn't want to get into that. For some reason, during this generation, their games did not sell. And they had to find a different way to go. And whether it was Satya, whether it was Phil, you know...
Xbox One X is the most important? No.
It's not. Because the console does not equal success for Microsoft as a company. Microsoft wants to take everything off the devices and put it into the cloud. And that's where they want to keep everything off the console. The device will let you experience their services. No, I haven't discussed any Xbox handheld yet. You mean the phone? I don't know. But they want that off the devices and into the cloud. Sony wants you to come. Sony is the movie theater owner that says, I want to make amazing movies, totally immersive, walk them into the home, get them right into the movie theater. We'll get them for $15 a ticket. Then we'll put it on Blu-ray and get them to pay a $25 Blu-ray. And then after Blu-ray, we'll put it on streaming services and we'll get revenue at 3 different tiers. Microsoft's like straight to DVD. Screw all that. I don't want to waste money and trying to give you that movie theater experience when I could just give you 4 or 5 games and they go right to DVD. Put them right on the streaming service. Go. And that's the tale of the two companies right now. Sony could blow us all away and change the whole thing. But all I gotta say is Microsoft has an out. They're preparing for this Netflix future, while Sony and Nintendo are sticking to their guns and delivering those movie theater experiences, those big games, the games that you look at your console, the people that go buy the console for the collector's editions, all that kind of stuff because of those games. Now, granted, they're not going to all be 190 Metacritics, and they're going to be some stinkers. They might have 65, 70, they might have those Metacritic games. Not every Sony exclusive game is going to be a 90 Metacritic. But the thing is that Sony is willing to take the risk, just like all their movies are not good. Look at the Emoji Movie, and then you look at Spider-Man animation, Into the Spider-Verse. They're doing studios. The Emoji Movie and into the Spider-Verse. Spider-Man Homecoming and the previous Spider-Man movie. This is the thing. Sony's willing to take risks to drive their content, services, and devices. Microsoft wants to drive their services with content. Sony wants to drive its devices and services with content. And I heard a lot of people say, you need the devices out there to sell the services. And that's something where I think Microsoft is kind of trying to teeter both ways, where they're obviously if you have more Xboxes out there, you could sell more services on that Xbox. But now what they realize is that they could put these services on PC, on phones. These services are not tied to the console. Therefore, why should the games be tied to the console? And that's where this whole dichotomy has been going on crazy about Microsoft not making games for their console. Hell, Booty just said it. They're willing to put games on other platforms. They don't care. It's whether the game needs it. Whether they get a game like a Minecraft game that they need this big universe world, they will put it elsewhere. And they're tipping their toes and everything. Remember, it was just Xbox. Then it was Windows 10. Oh, it's the same ecosystem. It's still Windows. It's still Windows. Don't worry about it. And now this year, it's on Steam. Microsoft, if they sell Halo and Gears this holiday on Steam, they got to cut Steam a check. They got to pay Steam a royalty for selling a game that Microsoft publishes and developed. Microsoft has to pay Steam to sell their own game. When Microsoft has their own store and their own console, Microsoft's willing to have to cut a royalty to Steam to sell their game. And if that doesn't put Microsoft's position in perspective, that shows that they are willing to take a cut of their profits to sell the game on another platform, on a third-party platform such as Steam. Okay? You could say, yeah, they own Windows and Windows devices and Steam. The thing is that in order to sell, that's the whole reason why people moved off of Steam to sell an Epic Store, was because of the cut that they had to give Steam. What is it, 30%? 30% of the game sale goes to Steam, where they were given 80% to the developers on Epic. That's why everybody went to Epic Store. It was because of the cut that they had to do for selling on that storefront. Microsoft was selling 100% on their UWP Windows 10 store, 100% sale. And now they got to cut a check to Steam to sell Gears and every other game that goes to Steam. So if that is not telling, I don't think that sounds like a company who's finding success on the platforms that they're currently releasing on. That's what that doesn't sound like. It doesn't sound like a company that's seeing, because I think if they saw success on Xbox console game sales and they saw success on the Windows 10 store, I don't think they would put their games on Steam. Just like they didn't do it at first, because why? That was the biggest question. Why are you putting your games on Windows 10 store when Steam is huge? And Microsoft's like, remember Sweeney calling it a walled garden? Microsoft creating an artificial walled garden with the Windows 10 store? They did. They created their own ecosystem because Microsoft wanted to keep ownership of those files, nonetheless, too, hidden on their operating system. Now they're putting it on Steam. So that project failed. Likewise, Mixer was not getting the traction from people just going to Mixer with all these features of co-op streaming and all this other stuff. Then they try to do original content. It had shows like Major Nelson's Inside Xbox, and they try to do their own unique content to Mixer to try to drive unique people. They lay them all off in July. And then a month later, too, they go sign the biggest guy over to Twitch saying you will stream exclusively on Mixer. They had to pay him to stream to Mixer. He didn't just go to Mixer because he's like, oh, I want to go back to my roots. He left 10 million subscribers on Twitch, and he's up to 1 million now. Like, they had to pay him to leave. You know? It's like a team, and I think a lot of people said it. It's like Manny Ramirez signing with the Mets. I think I heard. Like, you know, it's basically, I think Enrique said that. Shout out to B-Rap Podcast. Like, I think he was saying, like, or one of the other guys was saying it. Like, it's they just made a big signing, one guy. They need more. They got to sign more of them. They need to create a dream team on Mixer. You can't just have one guy come over there. He streams, and he takes more streamers than the whole entire Mixer. Like, you look at Fortnite. Fortnite's up to 30,000. He got 28 of them. And then the next person is like at 600. And then the next games are sitting at like 1,000 viewers, 2,000. Meanwhile, that one's at 30,000. He got 28 of them. Yes, that brings in traffic. But look at the thing. They tried doing a natural migration. Mix has been out for a year or two, a couple of years. They tried natural migration from other systems, trying to add features. Remember handing off the controller? On PC, I could give you my controller and you could play the game for me. How'd that go? They never added it to the console to share play. PlayStation had since day one for the console. Microsoft, they added it to Mixer. I haven't seen anybody ever use it. And they never added it to console. Handing the control over the internet. I guess, yeah. That ended. I guess it's there still. It was a feature. The co-op stream, which I think is awesome. I know Smooth does that. It's freaking cool as hell. But those features weren't bringing people over. So they needed a spark. And they gave themselves a Ninja. And we'll see what he does. But if you look, Microsoft is trying. Like, they have like a checkbox going. First we'll do homegrown. Then we'll do this. If that doesn't work, we'll do this. Now, if Steam, Windows 10, and Xbox don't really succeed, they're going to have to start begging. They're going to have to say, Sony, we got to put our stuff on your platform. Our stuff's not selling on the PC. Like, I'm saying, like, they're going to, and that's not going to happen this year or next year. But in 2 or 3 years from now, if they're not still seeing, if they're making content and it is not increasing subscribers and people are not staying on their subscriptions, Microsoft will find other methods to do this because they'll be losing money in developing these games. But the problem that I have with it, just like Booty said, they're making smaller games, which means that there might be more flexibility in these games getting canceled, in these games not coming to retail, or maybe even these games not being announced until they're ready. And I know, yeah, we're mongering. Oh, they might cancel games now. But if you think about it, small, bite-sized games for Game Pass, there's a lot more flexibility and possibility that these games like, you know what? Cancel that one. It's not like this big budget, like a Scalebound or Fable, where it's like all this money invested and they just say, we're cutting our losses. No. So they probably could easily cut their losses. Basically, Microsoft's approach right now to gaming, Scalebound, exactly. I don't know if I misspoke. I said another game. But like Scalebound, like that. Like it's a big budget game that, let's cut our losses. They probably lost money on it. But if you have smaller bite-sized games like a Hellblade gets canceled. Okay. That's only made by 10 guys. Put them on something else. Like there's more flexibility and variation you could do when you're dealing with small bite-sized games. Rather than these 10, 100-hour AAA games that require. Same thing what he said with open world procedural generated games. We don't want to throw 1,000 people at the game. Oh, okay. He wants the game basically to write itself. He wants the game to kind of create its own world and then have people experience that and they live in it. Just like Minecraft. Exactly like Minecraft. Like, it's just procedurally generated. So they don't have to worry about this tree goes here and this goes here. And it just builds itself and people just live in that world. low cost of entry, high profit, probably. You know, Microsoft sounds more of like champagne taste on a beer budget. Where Sony is champagne taste, champagne budget. You know, you get what you pay for. Microsoft wants that kind of champagne type as approaching this, but we're going to make it for a smaller team. Two different ends of the tail. That's the story. So when people go around going, oh, these studios, Booty told you what those studios are doing. All right? So if you want 15 Hellblades, thumbs up. Like the video, guys. Share it out, like it out, grinders. But if you want going to the movie theater, that doesn't sound like what they're doing. Again, they'll still have their Stranger Things, Gears 5. They'll still have their Halo, you know, Game of Thrones. They'll still have those things. Like your other subscription service. They'll have those big games. But they won't. But those studios are not making those games. They got their studios making. And you hear too, like they like this media. Like, oh, comic books and cartoons and movies. They're making a Minecraft movie. And they're making a Gears movie. Like, and they're making a Halo show for Showtime. So they're trying to get into that media like Sony has, like how what they did with Spider-Man and the tie-ins and stuff like that. But like Microsoft wants, when they say they want big franchises, they want these franchises to succeed outside of the game itself. They want to be comic books, stories, novellas, breakfast cereals, you know, all that stuff, you know, all those kind of sales things.
Merchandising, where the real money from the movie is made.
Yeah, like they want merchandising because Minecraft has led to that too. Minecraft has messed up Microsoft totally. You know, Satya probably saw Minecraft after he asked about how their Nintendo was doing, and he's like, you know, how's Minecraft? And it's like, you know, how is it doing?
Bring the toy back to the carpet.
How's our Nintendo?
Take your toy back to the carpet. Take your toy back to the carpet. Take it back!
I like our Nintendo. Yeah, I like the Minecraft. Oh my God, that's amazing. It's on every device. It makes so much money for us. I want everything to be a Minecraft. And that's what Microsoft's trying to do. They're chasing that Minecraft money. So we'll see who's successful. I think, you know what? I do think that this position of Microsoft as a service, Sony as a platform, and we have already seen it with the Azure clouds, I think this is a marriage made in heaven. You know, I think Microsoft games, PlayStation hardware, PlayStation exclusives, we'll see. But we've got to be careful because, you know, Sony wants to still drive devices. Like, if they see this Netflix thing, like, we could be getting a whole bunch of more games, but they're not those big games. And I don't know how gaming will be then. You know, without those big games that bring everybody together, that push hardware, that have that kind of feeling. Because, you know, as we get more and more powerful hardware, isn't it kind of counterintuitive to be like, oh, I got the strongest thing in the world. Let me download that 1 gigabyte little puzzle game that they released this month. Or I got the most powerful console or PC in the world. Yeah, bring over that. What game is that? Yeah, bring it over here. Let me play this little arcade game that just came out this month. And next month they're gonna come out with some indie games. Okay, here we go. Game Pass. No, when you buy the most powerful systems in the world, you want the games to demonstrate that power. You don't want Battletoads. You know, I wanted a real-looking Battletoads. I didn't want that Battletoads. The most powerful console in the world. Here's some, like, shitty-ass animation Battletoads. Like, oh, that's not my... I went in my last stream, I went back and I played Battletoads on the... I played Battletoads on EA's Battletoads. There was blood and stuff in it, and bones in that Battletoads. Oh! There was blood splats and smashing rats and bones. Yeah. Rom Noodles, I'm fearful of that. They will hold gaming back. They will make... First off, by giving us those type of games really doesn't justify the power of the system. That's my biggest problem. Like, if Microsoft is not going to make games that justify the power of the system, then how are you going to sell a most powerful system? Basically, the Pro sold... The Pro was appealing because of Horizon Zero Dawn. It wasn't because the games... VR 2... But games like Horizon Zero Dawn, God of War, those games, Spider-Man, they made people justify getting the Pro because the games looked much sharper, better on the Pro. Because they pushed the limits. Microsoft has to do that. Because you're not going to be able to sell more powerful hardware if you are not demonstrating it. You can't wait for Ubisoft. You can't wait for EA. Those dudes got so many other systems to worry about. Exactly, Rom. Sony games don't run on a Switch. Yeah, exactly. And that's a problem. Like, he's talking about putting Switch games on there, like Outer Worlds. Okay, on the Switch. Oh shit, okay. Spider-Man's not going on the Switch. Like, we'll run them at, like, 108p. Like, seriously, the thing is that you can't be talking the most powerful console in the world and showing everybody little bite-sized games. And that was the problem with this past E3. So, anyway... I want to thank you again, streamers, grinders and streamers. I've been streaming and stuff like that, but, I want to thank you guys again. And then we didn't even get
We're
to
really focusing first on what it means to play these games on your
those
phone. So we thought about how can we get as many
Game
people
Pass
playing
games,
on a
bite
phone as
size,
possible.
on a phone. You're not gonna be playing no 50-hour campaign on a phone. You'll be playing maybe a little Gears chapter here or there, and yeah, it fits with that model. Why would I invest in a 40-hour campaign when I want that game to be playable on a phone? So when we say God of War, people don't want to play God of War on the phone. That's right, Microsoft's not doing that. Microsoft wants little games so they can play them on phones, so they stay quantity. Microsoft's looking for quantity, PlayStation's looking for quality. Microsoft's going to have to find a way to prove that Game Pass does not diminish the value of the games. What's up, Socrates? How you doing, man? I'm wrapping this thing up. I want to thank everybody for coming out. Oh, let's see. Sam Ash said some stuff. Anybody have any questions in the chat before I wrap this up? Let's see. Microsoft didn't show me why I should have bought an X. Exactly. The world's most... Not only did they show you not to buy the X, but then they just said we got another more powerful console that eats the X for breakfast. That's coming next year. Fool me once. Yeah. It's going to be very interesting, though. But I'll take anybody in the chat have any questions. Yeah, I see Rom says here, like, Satya was going to cut Xbox if Phil's the puppet now. Yeah, I agree. Maybe Satya was going to cut it. Satya doesn't understand it. And Phil had to fit it into the model of the service. But, we'll see. We'll see. It's definitely two ends of a puzzle right now. It's two ends of a thing. But anyway.
I'd buy that for $1.
And we are out. I want to thank you again, grinders out there. Thank you again for coming out. Share, like the video. Follow the grinders over at Jez7780.
I'm trying to use the phone!
One more time for the grinders out there. Thank you again, everybody. We are out of here. And Phil says...
What you just played?
Thank you again, everybody. I'm out.